got about 2 minutes, and I started the video, and maybe people.
It's so peaceful out here. It's hard to imagine that there's all these crazy things happening.
I know, when you feel so kind of just disconnected by it, and I'm kind of, I mean, I'm super happy that I've had this. That I've had, I mean, that you've had this, that we've had this space to come to. I mean, just even Moore Park in general is pretty distanced from a lot of this stuff, and you can turn it on, you can check in on it. But yet, even this place right here just feels like some place that that we get to be, I don't know, provided for almost, like,
Recharged.
Yeah, recharged. Yeah.
I mean, I appreciate the videos that we do too, but there's just something different about coming here. I think when I come here, I'm like, my mind is set on this is my time. I'm in class,
right?
Be it like a strength class or like a TRX class or whatever,
right?
Or yoga classes, stuff like that. Whereas when I'm at home, there's always so many other distractions, right?
Right.
So even if we're in Dave's office, or if I'm trying to think, oh, and I remember to keep laundry. Oh, I remember to have dinner. Oh, like it's like you have the other distractions, so you're not going to focus.
Yeah, it's really easy to be. Yeah, here it's just here. Like, just here. Being here. Yeah, you're so right on that. All right, let's get going. Actually, I'm going to start on the ground. Welcome. I came from outside the shadows and that kind of a thing. Thank you for joining us either on the replay or this live. And we're just talking about how, gosh, that sun, oh man. So don't go outside right now. If you are outside, it's glorious. The way the sun is hitting and reflecting into the clouds, it's just something to be seen and something to be kind of experienced. But stay where you are, enjoy it, know that I'm enjoying it. And so, I look forward to when you guys can come in and enjoy this as well, back here as with me as well. So we're going to start on the ground today. Connect, center, separate about what's going on. It's very easy to think, I've got to think about this stuff all the time, and I've got to hold on to everybody's everything. And really what you need to do is just know where you are. Connect to what you're doing. Not disconnect everything else, not to say, I'm okay, I don't need to care about what everything else is going on. But you need to kind of go into and see where your home is, what's going on there. And don't take on everybody else's everything. You don't need to. You allow yourself to be present within your own space and give yourself the opportunity to be at rest during periods of time, periods of the day, and allow that wisdom to follow you so you can accomplish what you need to accomplish for other people, with other people, and allow that to be part of who you are, not just who somebody else is asking you to be, but you know who you are. Go ahead and let's come down to the ground. We'll just sit in a comfortable seated position, whether that be back into your heels. If you have blocks, you can sit on blocks. That makes sitting a little bit more comfortable. I'm just going to put them right underneath my hips. And then let your sit bones just sink into those blocks. Let your heels come out from underneath you. And then just take several nice, easy breaths. If this becomes uncomfortable, separate yourself from it. Don't get caught up in making it be more comfortable than it needs to be. So go ahead and just let your hands rest on your thighs. Take a big, deep breath. Let your chest open, and then exhale. Without collapsing, let your chest soften. If you'd like to drop your chin to your sternum and feel the opening of the rib wall. And as you breathe to open the rib cage, you allow the diaphragm to pull into the body. When we pull the diaphragm down into the body, we release the tension that builds up in the organs. Remember, you're oxygenating your system. If you've been wearing a mask all day, if you've been in tension dealing with whatever you're seeing on TV, allow yourself to be present here. Release that stress and tension. Breathe deep, settle deeply, connect deeply. Let your chin drop to your sternum. Bring your palms to your center. Let your thumbs rest right against your chin. Let your index fingers rest right into your forehead. Breathe to the width of your rib wall. Inhale, bring your head up, bring your chest up, and reach your arms up. Exhale, lower your hands down, keep your torso nice and tall, extended, lifted, lengthened. Inhale, release the arms, bring your arms up and overhead reach. Exhale, bring your arms down through your center. Again, reach wide, take your arms overhead reach. Exhale, bring your arms down through the center. 2 more, reach wide, take your arms overhead, and lower your hands down through the center. Last time, take your arms wide and overhead. And exhale, bring your hands down through your center. Let your chin again drop towards your sternum. Breathe into the rib wall. And then release your hands to your lap. Go ahead and remove the block out from underneath you. Let's go ahead and sit down on the ground. Move the blocks completely out of the way if you need to. You can come back and get them. Remember, the blocks are really there to support you, not necessarily, sometimes get confused as a crutch or something like that, but allow the block to be part of the process of you letting go. Lift that chest up nice and tall, shoulders are down. And just feel, if you're outside, the breeze. Pull yourself into your thighs as you push your hands up against your legs. Press your thighs into your hands. Let your chin drop to your sternum. Let your chin lift up. Release the hands from your legs. Take your heel of your hand back behind you. Pull the shoulder blades in and back. Feel the chest expand in the front. And then slowly begin to lower yourself into your mat. Laying back on your mat. Turn your palms up, chin towards your sternum, knees are bent. So we're going to start with some glute bridging, kind of open up the chest, do some reverse. If you have your blocks, you can place them underneath your hips. If you don't want to hold the bridging up, or you can settle and just hold your hips up, and I'll give you that option as well. So go ahead and place your hands down by your sides, slowly lift your hips up, roll your shoulders underneath you, let your chin rest up against your sternum. Now if you'd like, you can take a block and you can place it underneath your hips. So your hips don't have to hold themselves up, but you can hold your hips up with a block. It's a little more yin, a little more relaxing, a little more settling. But maybe you need a little bit more invigoration to those glutes, the back muscles. Holding. Couple more breaths, nice and long and deep. If you have the block that's underneath you, lift it out from underneath you, place it by your side, and begin to slowly lower your back onto the ground. Bring your right knee and left knee into a tabletop position. Open your arms out nice and wide. Drop both knees to your right. And then let your body just rest into the ground. Now a way to configure this a little bit easier is you want to push down into the back of those upper arms and roll so you get as much of your shoulders on the ground as you can. So your hips are lined up with the center line of the body. And then you breathe into the open space just below your rib wall. And then gently, slowly bring those knees up. Pause for a second here. Drop your feet right and left. Shift your hips to the right. Bring your knees back in. Drop both knees to the left. Now we're going to do this right and left stretch, and then we're going to come back to the center and go through that glute bridging again. Open the chest. Inhale, bring your knees up into your chest again. Let your feet drop to the ground if you have that block and want to use it. Lift those hips up and hold your hips up nice and high, pressing down into those forearms. If you don't have a block, you're just pressing down into those arms. Let your rib cage sink so you're not overarching your lower back. Keep your chin right up against your sternum. And then again, gently, if you have the block, move it out of the way. Lower your back into the floor. Make sure the blocks are out of the way. Bring your right ankle up and over your left knee. Bring your knee into your chest. Hold the right foot so it's flexed. Press in gently onto that inner right thigh. It's a little figure 4 stretch. You can hold the ankle. And then just drop the left foot. Shift the hips over a little bit and begin to lower your right foot to the outside of the left hip line, keeping that right shoulder down. Breathe again into the right rib wall, down into the right hip. If you can, release your left hand, place it into your right thigh. Breathe. Settle that right shoulder back. Breathe and release that right leg. Unlace the right leg. Roll back onto your back. Just pause there for a moment and just settle the hips. And then take your left ankle and cross it over your right knee. Shift your hips a little bit. Bring your knee into your chest a little bit. Hold the ankle. Make sure that the left foot is flexed. Drop the right foot back down to the ground and drop both feet to the floor. Again, that figure 4 stretch now goes to the floor. If you can, release the right hand, press into that left thigh, and then sink back into the left shoulder. And gently release the left leg, unlace from the knee, roll yourself back on your back again, and just settle into the ground. Just allow yourself to sink. Feel those hips, maybe they feel a little bit more even with each other. Lay back on your back. And then again, if you want, grab your block, lift your hips up, and let your shoulders drop down and into the ground. Do that glute bridge again. Lift those hips nice and high. Maybe you get a little bit higher this time. Maybe you're higher without the blocks, or if you want to try the blocks at a higher level, go ahead. If you're not using the block, I want you to take your hands underneath your back and pull your shoulder blades even further together. Interlace those fingers and press the forearms down into the ground. Chin towards your sternum. Feel that stretch across your chest. And sink. Release the arms, release the shoulders, and lower back into the ground. Settle there for another moment or two again. Bring both knees into your chest. Let's start on the other side and drop both knees to your left. Make sure your left shoulder is out from underneath you. It may feel easier to get to. Breathe and open up that whole right rib wall. Inhale, gently release that right leg, both knees back into center. Shift your hips to the left, bring both knees in and drop both knees to your right. Open that left arm. Breathe into that left side waist. And then again, gently and slowly bring both knees up. Hug the knees into the chest. Just give them a nice good draw. Drop your left foot to the ground. Keep your right leg. Extend your right heel to the ceiling. Sink your right hip down. Nice and long through that right leg. Press the right heel up. Sink the right heel. Lengthen the back side of the knee. So very often, because we have a difficult time getting the legs straight very often, there's a lot of pull tension underneath the back of the knee. Some pull. It's like you're drawing that hose long, kind of those veins, those musculature, all that's fluid that goes in through the legs. And just feel length. Feel the releasing, drawing, the tightening, the lengthening of everything on the back line of the body. Good. Bend the right knee, reach up for the right big toe, and then you're just going to, as you can, hold the right big toe back up over the hips again. You can bring your head up to hold the big toe, and then bend the knee again, hold with the right hand on the right knee, and then again, if you need to pick your head up, do so, and hold the big toe with the right hand. And then take that right leg away from the midline of the body. And just feel that length coming on the inside of that hip. Breathe. Feel the body even settle deeper into the ground. Release the glute on that right side. Bend the right knee. Bring the right knee back into the chest. Hold the right knee into the chest just for a moment. Extend the right leg back to the ceiling. Lower the right leg just above the left knee. And then take the right leg across the left thigh, kind of like you're making an X, right kind of mid-thigh, and push that right heel away as you sink back into the right hip. Breathing. Now, if there's a lot of cramping in that right hip, turn the toe more towards your right shoulder. Breathing so you're not getting into and spiraling that hip in too much. But cross the inner thighs. Let the legs go across from each other. See if you can return to that, dropping that big toe down and then pulling the big toe back up. So you're rolling the thigh in and out from the top of the leg. And then pause, bring the right knee back into the chest. Place the right foot on the floor, and you can even extend the right leg all the way out and just let that whole right leg settle. Gently, slowly bring the right knee back in so you're onto the ground with that right foot. Bring your left knee into your chest. Just hug that left knee in. And again, press that left heel to the sky and find that length. See if you can get straight in that left leg. If that means you bring your head up so you can kind of release some of the back tension, that's fine. If you have a strap, that's an excellent way to release the tension as well. Try to find that length in the back of that left leg. And again, bend the knee a little bit, reach up with your right hand, hold the big toe, and see if you can hold that leg with your right hand. And then bend the knee, come up, hold the big toe with your left hand. So you've got your left leg, you're holding the big toe with your left hand. If, as you already know, you may not be able to go further than this, as you can take that left leg up and then open the left leg away from the midline. So you're kind of in a big jackknife or a big L or an X or something. Exhaling. Feel that length all the way through the inner thigh of that left leg. Keep that right hip down as best you can. And bend the left knee, bring the left knee into the chest. And then once again, extend the left leg to the sky. Lower the left leg down so the left is almost in line with the right knee, and then cross the legs. Almost like you're going to cross your knee over the other knee, like you'd be sitting there. But on this instead, you're just making an X with the two legs, and then push through that left heel as if you're taking the left heel at a diagonal to the far corner of the room, and slightly tip from your hip the big toe down towards the ground. Again, if you get a little crampy in there, let it go a little bit and kind of release and just kind of tilt in and out. See if you can come back into it gently. Push that left heel out, pull the toe down as if you're rotating the entire hip in, but at the same time you're crossing the knees or the thighs. Breathe, relax the left shoulder, relax the right shoulder. Don't get everything else involved. Tip up, tip down, tip up, tip down. Good. And then gently just bring the knee back into the chest. Put the left foot on the ground. Take a big breath, extend the left leg even straight out onto the ground. And then slide once again that left foot and right foot back to center. Hands down by your side. Again, if you have a block, you're more than welcome to grab it. Lift those hips up straight up into that glute bridge. Shoulders down, chin in, forearms press into the mat. Chin slides into the sternum. As you can, interlace your fingers underneath you. Roll your shoulders further underneath your back. Notice if that's just all of a sudden easier to do, easier to find length in the hips, easier to find length in the back of the neck. Easier to just hold this glute bridge. Sink without releasing. Settle without giving in. Release the hands, release the shoulders, release the back to the ground. Bring the knees into the chest again. Drop both knees to your right. Lift the shoulders up out of the way so you're getting in that nice kind of 90-degree turn here. Taking a big deep breath in and exhale. Sink into that left shoulder. Relax your right glute. And then gently, slowly bring both knees up. If you need to stop through the center, readjust a little bit. Bring your knees in again. Drop both knees once again over to your left. Open that right arm out. Breathing into that right rib cage, that right shoulder. Gently and slowly release that right leg, and gently and slowly bring yourself back. Settle your hips into the ground. Let your arms drop by your side. Take a big deep breath in and settle your body back into the ground. Just take several nice long even breaths with your head dropped back, chin up against your sternum. And then gently and slowly move your hips out from underneath you. Roll to one side. Pause there for a moment just to allow the body to relax just in that side position. And then use your top hand to bring yourself up. Let's come into an all fours position, hands and knees. So interesting, we basically just spent a half an hour just glute bridging and rotating side to side. Give your body the opportunity and option of just settling. So go ahead and come into an all fours. Curl your toes as you need to. You can have them flat if you want to. Lift your tailbone, lift your chest, and just breathe into the belly. Sit your weight back into your heels if you need to, just to kind of release the tension in your hamstrings. And then round the back, but not the rib cage. Just let the head drop. You don't need to push more into the rib wall. Just tuck the pelvis as much as you can. Then lift the tailbone. Bring the sternum and the head forward. Again, tuck the pelvis first. Just let the head drop. You're not trying to push into the rib wall. And then lift the tailbone. Pull the sternum forward. Couple more. Just let the pelvis tuck under first. Then just let the head drop. Lift the tailbone, pull the sternum forward. Once more, tuck the pelvis under, round the back, chin towards your sternum. And then lift the tailbone, lift the chest. Let's come all the way into our belly, laying on your stomach. You can make a pillow out of your hands first and let your head come down so your chin's against your sternum again. And then just exhale. Soften. So watch that you're not pulled in too close. Make sure your hands are far enough out in front of you so your head can gently rest and you can get some more space in the back of your neck. If you want, turn your chin even to one shoulder and just feel how that neck opens and responds. And then pick your head up after another breath or two and turn your head to your other shoulder. Bring your head back to center and look kind of straight down into the ground. Bring yourself up so you're up on your forearms and pull your sternum up. Look up with your eyes. Draw your chin into your chest and round your back, pulling your belly off the ground. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your chest. Exhale, round your back, chin to your sternum. Inhale, lift your lift your chest. And then one more time, round. Inhale, lift your chest. Good, go ahead and bring your right knee up so you're kind of making a figure four again. Just kind of, or an H, you can kind of think it as an H. See if your hip is a little bit lower to the ground than maybe it normally is. Lift your chest up again. If it's okay. Okay, just hold. And then lower yourself down. As you lower yourself down, extend your leg. Bring your left leg up and lift up again onto your forearms. Now notice how far forward you bring that knee. It doesn't have to go above the level of the hips. Press into those arms. Maybe you need to lower that knee a little bit to get yourself some space. You don't want to gum up those SI joints. Breathing. And then again, just drop that left leg back there. Walk your hands back underneath you to help and prop you up. And let's come into a nice child's pose. Sink back into those hips, head down, chin in. Get long. Take a deep breath, exhale. Inhale, look forward. Shift forward, drop your hips into the ground. Breathing. So it's kind of like an upstretch or a cobra. And then pull your hips back, sink back. And again, pull yourself forward, drop your hips in, and lift your chest up. Beautiful, nice. And then lift the hips up, sink back. Head down, chin in. Once again, inhale, look forward, pull yourself forward. Notice my forearms are pretty much on the ground. Drop your chest in, lift your chest up. And then release the hips to sink back. Head down, chin in. And once more, look forward. Pull yourself forward. Lift your chest up. And then shift back in just to a regular child's pose. Forearms down, head down, chin in. Arms outstretched. Walk your elbows back. Bring yourself into kind of a tucked in posture. Lift the chin, lift the chest. Extend your right arm back out. Thread your left arm through and let your head rest onto the outside edge of the temple. Breathing and then sink back into your child's pose. So just one arm is underneath you, one arm is overhead on the ground. It's a nice stretch for the back of the shoulder, as well as kind of getting into the underarm of that right extended arm, maybe the upper arm a little bit. Slide the right hand back in line with the left. Press yourself up. Walk your hands forward and slide that right arm through as you reach the left arm overhead. Feel the weight of your body resting into that outside of that right shoulder. Breathing, exhaling. Slide your left hand in, press yourself up, and then let's again bring those feet out from under behind us, out in front of us. If you'd like to sit on a block, you can. It kind of brings you up a little bit, so you're not using so much muscle to hold upright. See if you can make sure that the blocks, though, are right up against each other, so you're not working through the kind of the hole in the middle. Sit nice and tall, body's nice and lifted. If you're just sitting there, your just knees are bent, your hands are against your shins, feet are flat as best you can. Take your feet out a little bit wider than your hips. And you can even lean into your shins. Feel that length in your back. And lift your chest back up. Take your left foot underneath. Bring your right knee kind of in line with your right foot in line with your left knee. Hold your right knee and rotate around. Breathe. Inhale, look back towards your left shoulder. Don't unrotate. See if you can draw your right shoulder further and then look back again over that right shoulder. Inhale, bring your head back to center. Release that right arm. Extend your right leg out and fold over that right leg. Again, bring yourself up. Bring that right knee once again back in. Take your right arm to the inside of that right leg and rotate towards your left knee. Breathe into the belly. Inhale, bring your head and chest center, and then let's switch legs. Go ahead and start with your knees bent again, just like you were before. Feet are flat, lift that chest. You want to move those legs a little bit out in front of you and shift into your shins. Go ahead and this time tuck your right foot underneath you. That's the nice thing about being on the blocks is you're a little raised and you don't have to work so hard to get that leg underneath you. Hold that left knee and rotate towards your left leg. Inhale, look back towards your right shoulder. See if you can get taller, longer. And then look back over your left shoulder. Exhaling. Inhale, center. Good. Take that left arm to the inside of your left leg and let's rotate towards your right leg. If you're getting any tightness in that right glute, lean back or lean forward. See if there's a space that you can get into that releases that tension. Inhale and come center, and then extend the left leg out and fold across that left leg. Inhale and bring yourself right back up again. Slide that foot out from underneath you. Open those knees back out. Let your hands rest on your shins. Lift your chest up and just a slight lean forward, but you're trying to get length out of your back. Exhale. Take your hands to the block. Shift your weight off of your blocks and then take your blocks up from underneath you. Let's go back to the back again. Laying all the way back. We're going to finish with one more glute bridge. Head back, shoulders down. If you want to grab your block, you're more than welcome to put it underneath you. If not, just lift those hips back up again. And then lower those hips back down. Move the block if you need to. Shift your hips to the left side of the mat. Draw your knees in. Take your knees to the right. And then rotate and just let your left shoulder sink down into the ground. And then bring those knees back into the chest. Sink the feet back down. Shift the hips over to your right. Bring your knees in and drop both knees to your left. Last big rotation here. Feel that shoulder. Maybe it's just easier to get to that right or left side. Big deep breath into that right rib wall. Exhaling. And again, slowly bring those knees back to center. Hips underneath you. And then let's extend your right leg and left leg out. Take your arms wide away from the body, about 1.5 feet on each side. Take a big deep breath into the belly. And just let your whole self sink into the ground. Let those feet drop out. Let those arms settle. Feel the weight of your back evenly distributed on your shoulders, on your ribs, and your pelvis. Let your jaw soften, let your eyes sink back. Slide your feet in just now, just so your shins are vertical. Shift your hips off to one side. Reach up with one arm and roll to the right side or left. And gently and slowly bring yourself upright. Sitting in a nice, simple seated position. Again, if you want to sit on your blocks, then do so. Arms out in front, body's nice and tall, hands can sit in your lap. Once again, bring your hands to your center. Thumbs rest on your chin, fingers on your forehead. Lift your chest, lift your chin, reach your arms up, and then take your arms down. Let your arms go back wide and overhead, and then exhale. Once more, reach wide and overhead. Reach and lower. And be well. Have a wonderful night. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Get out and go for a walk. Sit and breathe deeply. Some nice evening air. Allow yourself to settle. Have a great night, and I'll see you later.